February 24th, 12:14 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9.
Number 9.
Welcome back to another episode of Cactus Court Plays Phoenix Wright is Attorney. My name is Bobby.
Man, my astigmatism is all fucked up right now. I'm Kevandre.
Okay.
I know there's a stigma about it, but like, it's fine. Look, the lines are just like this, like hella. I don't care for that.
We can't see what the fuck you're doing, man.
You can. It's like that. It's like it goes like that, and then it's like that.
Oh, okay. So the lines aren't matching up in the middle of your sight in between the two eyes.
Yes.
One's offset from the other, so one's slightly lower, one's slightly higher.
Yeah, it's all fucked up right now. Usually it's not this bad.
You should probably get some new glasses, my dude.
Well, it's a new year, so I can. So, good idea.
Yeah, we should probably go do that.
All right.
Because we are fancy enough to have vision insurance. Yeah, that was the highlight of my last year. I got insurance.
Yes. What a thrilling start to this episode.
Don't become adults, it sucks.
Yeah, it does.
So, last time...
I have eggs in my eyes.
We finished McCree, and...
oh, thank God he's gone.
Yeah, now we are calling Jake Marshall to the stand, and we sort of almost walked into a prostituter's trap by him saying, oh, the murder didn't occur there? Well, then clearly it must have occurred this place, with this person doing it, and Lana Sky's guilty. We're like, now hold on a minute.
Edgeworth tried to infer that the cough-up queen is a reliable witness, but that's just not the case.
Right, she gets on the stand, and she's like, you want some food? And we'll be like, yeah. And she's like, I'm going to need about $3.50. And it was about that time!
Yeah, we basically poked holes in everything in her theory. And I wish that Gordy was real, so we could have had that.
Yes, I really wish we could have had more of the Loch Ness Monster.
Why was Gordy not real?
It would have been great.
We should have called Gordy to the stand.
That's next game.
Oh.
Anyways. So, alright, so now we hit a little save spot. We got in the case file for SL9. We're going on.
The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky.
That's nice. Emma didn't come back.
Emma, come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Drinking in court.
Yeah.
Witness, please state your name and occupation, Bambina.
To be fair, I've been in the courtrooms, and most people drink in court.
The judge's gavel is just filled with fucking, just like, whiskey.
Yeah, there's a little bitty, like, shot thing, you know, like a little Gatorade bottle thing on top, so that way you have to actually, like, kind of, like, bite down on it a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why he keeps, like, hammering it all the time, because, like, it shakes it up.
He's getting hammered.
Good for whiskey.
Yeah.
Me, partner.
I feel like my pun went underappreciated.
Yes, it is good. I recall when I was a young child and we went camping and my dad was like kind of slapping himself in the knee with a hammer for some reason, and he was drinking and he was like, I'm getting hammered, and I was like, whoa, hilarious. Anyway, and then I played the whole I played Final Fantasy Tactics Advance the whole trip. We killed the trailer's power because I turned it on because I had a regular Game Boy Advance with no backlight.
Of course.
It was a good game. Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know. You're a patrolman.
Oh, I fucking love Edgeworth getting sassy.
I know. I'm gonna miss Edgeworth.
Yes.
As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor.
Howling wind. I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before.
Puckered asshole, of course, but...
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place? Sorry, my throat's all fucked up today.
Hey, you should probably, get a drink of something. Like, that's what we do. We drink and play games.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's just non-alcoholic.
Yeah, not really.
You used to do that a lot more, though.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Back when I was super shy and I had a lot of trouble getting up the courage to record.
Yeah, now we're just fucking used to it. And I gotta tell you, this channel has been good for me in a lot of ways, including reading things, aside from today, apparently. Like, at work we do this, like, kind of safety huddle thing where you're supposed to read off this thing about things to remain safe with or whatever. And they just keep having me do it because I've gotten pretty good at reading the thing and adding, like, a bunch of emotions and interesting things and inflections to it. It's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, they don't let me read it because I sum up too much. It's just like, this week's safety meeting, do you stay safe at home as you do at work? And I just go, so pretty much, stay safe at home. Okay, come sign this.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
They don't let me do it anymore.
Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Shut the fuck up. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. This southern thing is my shtick. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English, you piece of shit.
No Blumpkins.
No Blumpkins. Well, let's not go too far.
Yeah, Blumpkins are not allowed.
I'm sitting on a stack of pizzas here. I'm ready for them to get a Blumpkin. My job was to keep a wary eye on the bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remembered right, I was at the street side saloon at the time it went down.
So, rather than being at your job, you're claiming you were off getting wasted in a bar.
He's drinking from a flask on the witness stand today.
Yeah, but at least he's at work.
And shaving.
Yeah, at work.
I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
I guess it's time to start hitting the old dusty trail. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. Cease and desist. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining.
Dick. Wait a minute. The judge's beard is magnificent.
I agree.
It's the best thing about him.
Objection!
What do you mean by 2 security systems? Got a hiccup.
I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those.
Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence lockers?
Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those?
He's not being very helpful.
He's not that good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prostitute? No. This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours.
Not like the judge's beard, I swear.
I know, some people.
It's
his best thing.
No respect for their elders, these kids these days.
My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard.
Okay, what the fuck do you mean by that? How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room?
I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still. Every time even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings.
You interred them.
Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life.
This guy has a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room.
They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style.
Tell me a bit more about that. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right?
Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
I was told to do my job, but I'm like, nah, that ain't me. No desperado I know lets rules get in his way.
Do they let the paycheck get in the way? Because I can tell you right now, I don't care about the rules, I care about the paycheck.
Yeah.
Which means you gotta care about the rules.
They just really like the cowboy motif, so they keep him on. That's a joke. This is Wimp Low. We trained him wrong. As a joke.
Nice. I like it. No desperados I know join the police force.
So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner, can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks.
How does this guy avoid being fired?
It's really a great question, Phoenix.
Yeah.
Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway.
Did we already question that one?
They said I was supposed to make...
No. I was looking to see if it had, like, reset back to the beginning, because we had...
No, I think that Phoenix asked about it after his testimony was over before we started doing the pressing.
Yeah, okay. So, do I need to press again? I mean, it probably can't hurt.
Sure.
Fuck it. You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct?
Of course. Back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence.
And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism?
Sorry, partner. I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works.
That's quite, incredible. You fucking idiot.
The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence.
Now that he mentions it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that, too.
At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon at the time it went down.
What were you doing in a place like that?
I was eating spaghetti.
Awesome.
A spaghetti western.
Thank you.
Not even angel steak lunches could beat that parlor's Vongola sepia pasta. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. Have some pizza.
Right. And tacos are better than spaghetti.
Okay, let's not go too far.
I'm saying it.
Let's not blaspheme to that extent.
Unless you get, like, a spaghetti taco, which is a thing.
There has never once been a taco that was better than spaghetti.
Yes, there has.
Not even once.
All the time. And don't get me wrong, I fucking love spaghetti. I just love tacos more. Now, even bad spaghetti is good spaghetti, but a bad taco is a bad taco. So, spaghetti is a constant high, whereas tacos, you gotta search out for that good shit.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a higher high in tacos.
No.
If you know where to look.
You don't, because they don't.
Anyway.
Spaghetti for life.
Are we gonna have a war about this?
We should.
Right? Okay, so, that's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says, Did you not win a raise this year?
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum. But I'm all out of gum.
Yeah.
I'm just an innocent traveler, man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the train. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall.
That's right, partner. Or as you'd call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset.
Okay.
One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, except bigger Texans.
Yes.
That's true. I've met lots of Texans, and they are exactly like that.
Oh shit, I forgot all about the Alamo. They're gonna come after me now.
Oh, okay. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card on my sleeve, so I'd best keep my cool with my pink tie. Before I use it, though, I'd better up the ante. Do I have a thing?
So we found his fingerprints, right?
That's right. Oh, hey, look, I can check this. What the fuck is in here? Okay, so perpetrator Joe Dark, serial murder, death. We probably should have read this at some point.
Yeah.
So the victims were Edward Jones, Edith Kirby, Jeb Bates, Neil... Oh!
Neil Marshall.
Huh. Rachel Moss and Jason Knight. Head prosecutor is Edgeworth. Witness was Lana and Emma Skye. Investigation Task Force. Executive investigators were Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Head investigator Bruce Goodman, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr. Yeah, I'm fairly certain that Neil Marshall's going to come up there. I think that's going to be a linking thing. Anyways, yeah. This was it, right?
Yeah. We want to present it now, though?
I'm not sure where we should present it.
Well, I mean, he said to show him evidence, right? At the last one?
Yeah, so let's go there and then do it. Room protected, 2 security systems. If I remember right, at a street side saloon. There we go. Okay. So this one.
Yeah.
Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this. Sorry. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime.
And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner.
It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. What?
Sorry, I did the winky face.
Oh, a trail? Just from his dick dragging on the ground?
Yeah, and just like he's got gonorrhea, like so it's kind of weird. It's Hilda's last name from Fire Emblem Three Houses, but like anyway.
You're right over there, buddy. You keep on saying shit that don't make no sense.
Her last name is Goneril.
Yeah, I know.
Which is like gonorrhea,
but not right. It's not. Like, it's not.
Achoo.
I don't know if you know, but it's not.
You have detention. I didn't say anything. I sneezed. Well, we'll see how much you'll be sneezing when you have gonorrhea.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck he's on about, but anyways, or to be exact, a handprint.
Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects, that is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there.
I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood.
I love my woman every day of the month, sir.
Wow, that would be a hell of a defense.
Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your bloodstained fingerprints were at the crime scene?
The blood was wiped away. However...
we had a spritzy.
Yeah, a spritzy test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall?
It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders.
That's not true. I'm dandruff-free.
I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall. About the blood-stained fingerprints? Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints.
Well, really, it's... the luminol test exposes biological material because of the way that it reacts with the iron and the hemoglobin. So, usually that's blood. But depending on how it glows, a skilled person can even say, like, oh yeah, that has less iron in it, that's not blood, that's semen. Or something like that. So it's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. There are other tests that you can do that can get more specific. But, yeah. So, it could be something else. It's not necessarily blood. But it's blood.
Yeah.
So.
Gallons of the stuff.
Yeah.
Cow blood, because he's a cowpoke. Or he poked himself on the cactus.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Or, he was painting the badger, and he fucked himself up.
But it was Gumshoe who painted the badger.
He went in and painted it afterwards. He painted it better.
I see.
Yes.
Found at the scene of the crime. Sometimes I just gotta finish my sentence like a full minute later.
Yeah.
Sometimes that does happen, I gotta admit. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Oh, didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? You seem to know a lot about this shit, sir.
Yeah.
See, I had nothing to do with it. The witness's explanation appears valid.
Does it? Whose side are you on, Judge?
Although there's room for doubt. I don't like his accent. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner.
Yes, it would.
I'm actually from Texas. I know you're from fucking Los Angeles, you piece of shit, so cease and desist this bullshit cultural appropriation. And come have some pizza.
Yeah, or I'm just going to take that as the actual thing that the judge said.
That's what he said.
Yeah, so, this guy is hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. Oh yeah, we're going to prove it. We're going to prove it so hard. Okay, so, like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. Okay. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. Now, hold on. So then, what about the bloody handprint?
Wasn't mine. It's no mystery. Please explain. My locker is covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened.
Yeah. Murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance.
Yes.
No. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1.
On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why?
Yeah.
The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated.
I disagree.
Did you press on the first one?
No.
Yeah, might as well just press on everything.
Yeah, but, nah. It seemed just kind of like, oh, hey, I'm going to tell you why. It's like, yeah, I don't really need to press on that shit. But if we don't get anything, then I'll go back and do it.
Alright.
It usually gives us a second chance to circle back around. So, unrelated.
They're as different as night and day. Kind of like cereal and cereal. One's got to do with breakfast and the other's a type of murder.
I know what a homonym is.
Yes. Yes, I remember that the breakfast cereal with the mascot who's just like the serial killer, right? And then it's just like ad hominem, just like because it's an advertisement.
What?
It's an ad including a homonym.
You're awful. Why would you say Tony the Tiger is a serial killer?
I didn't say Tony the Tiger was.
Why would you say Trix the Rabbit was the serial killer?
Is that his name?
Yeah.
I thought he was the Trix Rabbit. I didn't think his name was Trix the Rabbit.
I don't know. Trix the Rabbit. That's what he is. What about Lucky, the Lucky Charms mascot?
I assume that the burglar that burgled all of the Cookie Crisp back when we were kids is a serial killer.
Now look, there's been a lot of people on the cover of a Wheaties box. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them, just by statistical probability, happened to be a serial killer.
Look, man, was fucking O.J. Simpson on Wheaties box?
I don't think so. Because he was a football player, but he wasn't, like, that great of a football player. Right. He wasn't, number one or anything. He was just a football player.
He was good enough to be, like, acting.
Have you seen what he's acted in?
The Naked Gun? It's an amazing movie.
It is an amazing movie. He's not amazing in it.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird seeing him in the movie.
Right? Yeah. It's unusual. So anyways.
He's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different.
I don't see what homonyms have to do with this. I agree.
Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves?
No, this is the big one. Yeah. How do you know that?
I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on my reports. There was a bloodstain at the scene, though, thought to be left by the murderer.
That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker.
However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint.
Oh yeah, I think we tried that too.
So that would mean the murderer, wearing gloves, happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's the only logical conclusion.
I can't let him squirm out of this one. I've got to find something decisive to tie Officer Marshall to this crime. Is it going to be the Mincy pot?
Like I said, it's only natural, etc.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's press on this one too. That's because you, how did you put it, pay your respects once a month?
Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams.
I see.
It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker.
Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time, without ever knowing it. Oh, okay. Sure.
Are you starting to get the picture, partner?
The picture?
This seal of blood in the desert, it's just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this.
The security tape.
So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall.
Okay. Oh, hey, there we go. There's the extra thing, I guess. So, did you know the murderer was wearing gloves? Too bad it wasn't me. In that video, right? Do I need to press or present the video?
It's
a good question.
I mean, might as well press on it anyway.
Yeah.
You don't really get in trouble for pressing.
Yeah, then we'll usually get a, do you want to continue? Present evidence.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Which is kind of nice. I appreciate it. So, what do you mean by that?
You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner?
I just want to tie you up in general. I have a thing for
hog
cowboys.
tie on a railroad track. And Meekins.
Yeah. If we could just, gag Meekins and stick him in front of a train, that would be great.
If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have.
But that video, wow. I took a drink of bevy, and my voice did something weird. So, okay, let's try this again. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots.
Blind spots? Motherfucker, you were here.
Yeah, places you can't see. The camera is panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown, except maybe kinda at the very end there. Yeah.
We might have been able to see it if the fucking badger had been circumcised, but no.
Yeah. If someone was circumcised?
Yeah, his hat. They need to cut off the tips so that you could see the murder.
Of course. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape.
We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now.
Okay, is there evidence in this video? I'm trying to think.
Probably. We only showed 2 things from the first 5 seconds of it.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna... Very well.
Probably something to do with his locker, right?
Probably. The fingerprint, the handprint, wasn't on there. Or the one on the right, the bloody print wasn't on there afterwards, before.
Besides, that thing that's shoved into that locker. Do we ever figure out what that was?
No.
It was white. What's-his-face's outfit, right?
Yeah. And if that wasn't present there, which I'm not sure. So yeah, let's go for it.
Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake.
That's nice.
Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall.
Okay, so it wasn't out there.
It wasn't?
Yeah, and I think the blood print was right there, so the head's in the way. We can't see it. So, do I pause it here?
Yeah, there's nothing there now.
Yeah.
Do we want to present it now or when? Well, let's keep looking and wait until the end if it appears at later on.
Yeah. So there's the glove falling out. There's Meekins being a sneaky bitch. Oh, hey, look, there's an altercation. Mm. And as we eke up onto it.
Boom!
Okay. So,
There's that boy.
Yeah. Bringing our attention back to the security camera. Is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall.
The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers.
The days are not short in Texas. They're long as fuck.
Everything is bigger in Texas, including the days and the flatness of our state. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less?
Yeah. Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video.
Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner.
The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. There we go. Bam! Right there.
The locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe.
Now then, let's rewind the video just a bit.
And they sure do love this video.
Yeah, I imagine somebody went through a lot of effort trying to get the graphics right to do this on the game system. So, good for them. Yeah.
For the DS, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm sure that this is still completely remade for this version.
Yeah.
Oh, the white cloth, it's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall?
When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then, it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away.
Order, order. It would seem that hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened the locker and stuck it in.
Because you don't understand how fingerprints work, do you, dumbass?
It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man?
This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker.
Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker. Now prove it.
I mean, we have a locker. I think that's the one we should just
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, alright.
Fingerprint sensor?
We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to.
What kind of crazy talk is this?
Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this.
In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force who don't know about the fingerprint locks.
So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less?
I only got one word for you, partner. No.
Well, it's better than hating.
Order, order, order. Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard.
I assure you, this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What does that have to do with that mincy pot? It's killing me.
Ole, please answer the question.
What is he now, a bullfighter? That's all right, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here.
We can.
Have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall.
If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer.
That's right. The only possible conclusion.
Well then, let's hear it. Where was the Officer Marshall at the time of the crime?
Killer? Victim?
I think he was victim, right?
Yeah, because he was actually at the locker,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I just wish it was a bit more clear as to...
Yeah, I wish it would say M, and, well, I guess they're both M.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. Officer Marshall was standing right here.
There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was.
Correct. Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman.
But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. Yeah, didn't you just have a case of mistaken identity on a boat a couple months ago, Edgeworth?
Yeah.
With someone who was right in front of you and then framed you for murder, and then you were just like, yeah, I guess probably I did it.
Yeah, what a dick. Anyways, so may I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted.
When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir.
Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond?
He suddenly pulled a knife on me.
Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it?
Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it.
The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Hey, it's on mine too. What a coincidence.
Oh, shit. Oh, I get it.
If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. And Officer Marshall does not like getting blown. So, right.
He likes getting coughed on and stuff.
Yeah. That's a very weird fetish. Like, I'm not kink shaming. You know, you do you, but that's one I haven't heard of.
Well, that is a thing that I made up probably 10 years ago. Me and Coach were playing Mario Party, and we went to a Bowser space, and then this was one of those days, just like the playing on the trades or whatever, that I was up for too long.
Yes.
And I was saying some really stupid things.
Getting that insomnia high.
So we got into the Bowser space, and I was like, cough on my dick, is what I thought he said. But he actually said, cough up a star. But then, Coach was just like, cough on my dick. So then that just kind of became Bowser's thing for a while.
Yeah, he likes getting... If you know someone who that is their legitimate fetish...
And they have mesothelioma.
Yeah. Get us in contact with them. You know, message us on Facebook. We got a page.
Call JG Wentworth.
Yeah.
877 cash now.
I have questions for that person. So, anyways, Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall?
You got quite an imagination, partner.
That's some crazy jerky you're chewing on there, man. You gotta finish it already.
We got a term for that. It's called circumcisional evidence.
Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying
That's
it.
not what I said.
You said it wrong.
You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. And the judge would have objected anyway, you're right.
Yeah.
Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. Or your circumcisions. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining.
What a dick.
Well, Mr. Wright, can you make this guy shut the fuck up? Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim?
Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that.
I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat.
Ah, this can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do?
It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics.
The basics.
Base.
For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me.
Phoenix, try thinking outside the box.
I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. I should be thinking about Mia's box. Yeah.
That bird's box?
Yeah, but rather, I should... One of my friends, one of my Just Kids, watched Bird Box recently, and they fucking hated that ending as much as we did, and I was like, yes, I'm proud of you. Anyways, but rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise.
Did we hate the ending of that movie?
Yeah, it was fucking awful. Them going down the river and all that stuff, and then all the monsters were like all around them, whispering to them. And even though they've been shown to interact with stuff, they're like, oh, we're not going to lift the blindfolds for dumb fucking reasons. And then it's just like, wow, that's kind of fucking dumb. And it's like, oh yeah, we're a school for the blind. Nobody's welcome in here, even though the monsters should be able to open doors and shit. You know, just fucking don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's awful.
I remembered that I wanted the camera to see the monster and then the cameraman jump off the cliff.
Yes, that would have been pretty good.
I would have loved that as an ending.
Yeah, if it turns out the cameraman was just some dude there the whole time.
Right, but also, since we're talking about Bird Box, Garrison's going to start talking about that shit again, and Sandra Bullock can't cut Tom's hair.
What?
We've had this argument like a bunch of times. Garrison says that nobody like Sandra Bullock would be able to cut a black man's hair. And I'm like, I think she could learn, because like they were together for a long time and he had like a perfect like fade like way after everybody else was gone. Right? So his hair would have either been like completely grown out, or he had to cut it himself and do it perfectly, or she had to do it. Mm-hmm. And Garrison's like, no, she can't do it.
I don't know.
I think it's really funny, it was a fun argument.
When it comes to hair cutting, I don't know shit. When it comes to cutting black people's hair, I especially don't know shit.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend like I know.
Not even a little. That is way more complicated than I will ever know. So I'm just like, yeah, okay.
And Garrison has a fine fro, so I have to assume.
Yes. Does he? I've never seen the guy.
Yeah.
Oh. Hi, Garrison. I love your fro. Anyways.
Man, when we blow up and become very popular, and then everyone's just like, who is this one guy they keep talking to all the time? Why won't they talk to me like that, Baka?
Yeah, it's because you don't send us the freshest, dankest memes.
Senpai.
He does.
I agree.
He tags us in that good shit. Become #1 fan like him.
I agree.
Why do you think this locker was open in the first place?
What do you mean?
There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it has been.
Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker.
According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason.
Well, not really unknown. We figured it out. We're way ahead of the reveal on this one.
The fact that a white cloth is sticking out the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside.
So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth?
Piece of cloth?
Piece of cloth.
Yeah. Perhaps the video is the key to all of our unanswered questions.
Bruh, we already know what it is.
Yeah. I don't have any evidence, so the video is my only shot. And I'm not going to throw away my shot.
Very well. Let's take yet another fucking look at the security tape.
I agree. We're kind of fucking done with it.
After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker.
Fast forward. At which point do the blood on the jacket. Where it got blood on it.
Yes.
Alright. So we gotta wait for a spot with blood.
Perfect.
Okay. So, for some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end. Yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you.
As anyone would do, you stabbed him immediately.
When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. That's not the problem here.
Once you heard his voice, you're like, oh,
Right.
I gotta stab him.
We'll support you on that. It may equal out with whatever you did
get
later.
a commendation.
Get a commendation for stabbing Meekins. I love it. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood.
A bloody white coat.
You couldn't just walk out like that. So you hid the coat in your locker.
And then didn't come back for it, ever.
Because you're a fucking idiot.
Not bad, partner. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth.
I hope you're happy now.
I hope you're happy now.
I was more in the Wicked thing,
Yeah.
defying gravity. But whatevers.
2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now would we?
Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it.
Alright. It seems the time has come.
Marshall's confession.
I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. I managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15.
Of course not.
So the supposed victim was really you.
Yeah.
But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be?
Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor.
It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Look, a cut on your hand, if it's any kind of size, more than a paper cut, it bleeds like a motherfucker. You get so many capillaries in there, it's just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Like a cut on the forehead. It just bleeds for days.
Bust a capillary in your ass.
Really?
I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die.
Not what died? Tell me about that. When you say it, you mean
Do you even have to ask, partner?
the SL9 incident? Oh, my bad. I should have done that in voice.
The SL9 incident.
Yeah. The SL9 incident.
2 years have passed since that case was closed. It wasn't going to completely end with the transferal that day, or it was going to.
Yeah.
Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over.
But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room?
The case was closed. Only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine.
But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? We already figured this one out. We're ahead of the reveal again.
That day was my last chance. That's why I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I plan to take out the evidence.
Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? More importantly, if you didn't know about the fingerprint locker, how did the locker end up being propped open with a glove? I mean, that's kind of a good question.
Yeah, somebody else must have been there first.
Yeah, he's completely oblivious.
Yeah. Because he didn't know about the fingerprint thing, or...
Yeah, but
Anything.
Edgeworth did, and he was in there earlier.
That's true, he was. But how would he have opened it? It must have been Gant, right?
Must have been Gant. He would have the supervisor access code and could open anything. Gant being the sneaky bitch.
Being the 777777. Yeah.
Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman?
If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere.
So you did it to fool the security camera.
And the detective's ID card? I stole that the morning of the incident.
So that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report. Good to
I
know.
returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prostitute's office parking lot.
The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall.
So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foreskin.
What do you mean, partner?
I mean, the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints.
Oh, thank you, Edgeworth, for bringing up this point that we've already brought up verbally 5 minutes ago. But you didn't know that. It's okay.
Yeah.
I forgive you because your hair.
Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself.
But he could, because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall.
Not necessarily.
Right. But with the evidence they have now, that's where,
I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out.
Can we give you a medal? You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off.
Can we give you this trophy that I took from Edward's office?
King of prosecutors, here you go.
Yeah. Oh yes, I'm a king of prostituters. Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I don't think you're allowed a knife in the trial area at the court, sir.
What?
He keeps shaving himself with his dagger, but I don't think he's allowed to have that in here.
Normally, no. If you're if you're an officer in your line of duty, so if you're protecting the courtroom, then usually you are allowed. So federal marshals, they're usually allowed or something like that, or the bailiffs will usually have something. But even normal cops, when they show up to court, have to check their shit in. They have a separate area usually where they can store their shit and then just get it once they're on their way out. They have a special entrance. They're better. So that's the whole thing. But yeah, he shouldn't be having a knife. Though I have had a knife in a courtroom before.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I had a little pocket...
It was evidence?
No, I had a little pocket knife when I was a kid. And I just carried it with me everywhere because I love knives, right? And one time we had to go to court for some stupid shit. I can't remember. It was with my horrible stepmother.
Right.
And I just had it in my pocket because I didn't know. I had no recollection of ever being in court before. And so it was empty all your pockets to do all this. And I put a little pocket knife in the tray. And the officer was just like, huh.
Surprising.
Yeah. And my stepmom was like, oh my god, I can't believe he brought that there. And I was just like, look, don't worry about it. Okay, just keep that in your pocket. You're not allowed to bring that, but you're clearly not a problem. You're fucking 6.
That's how Maxwell Silverhammer happened.
Yeah. So it was a lot more chill back in the 90s.
Yeah, even more so back in the 60s.
So yeah, they didn't care. So I had a pocket knife there, and then when I got home, I got beaten for bringing a pocket knife to the courthouse because that's the way my wicked stepmother did.
Turns out, Maxwell Silverhammer, we're just assuming that they're in college or high school. He's actually 6 years old, which is why he was allowed to bring the hammer into the court.
Right.
But he was majoring in medicine, but he had decided that pretty early on. He's just in first grade.
It's a Dookie Howser kind of situation.
Yeah, Dookie Howser.
Yeah. So anyways.
I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time.
Sorry for the odd fucking tangents.
Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type of person, which means that there are a lot of him, because 1 in a million is not that many.
That's right. You're not unique.
Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID.
I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year.
When did Edgeworth get so much influence?
Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry that it turned out that way. With me knocking him out and everything.
By the way...
Meet me in the octagon.
Yeah. What happened to your knife?
You mean this knife?
I don't know what to say.
So you knocked Officer Meekins out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera.
Of course. So, you did your research beforehand.
Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner.
That's very true.
I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left.
However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins.
If someone was in the security room when I found out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there.
What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? Being knocked the fuck out?
What else? He was sleeping like a fucking baby.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. 5:17, of course.
Yeah. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place.
What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner.
So you stole the evidence from the locker?
Actually, no, I didn't.
Why not?
When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that fucking evidence?
It's still missing, Your Honor.
Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Who the fuck is 77777?
Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer.
No, you are not.
You are under oath, sir.
You are under oath and compelled to answer as truthfully as possible. Failure
Yes.
to do so is an impeding an investigation or perjury.
Yes, perjury. Obfuscation.
Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offense. You deserve a trophy for Meekins.
Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary.
Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. That's right.
Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness had an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why?
No,
Because your brother was killed in it?
Yeah. But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room.
Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence.
I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out, you fucking idiot.
Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is.
I agree.
I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. Except for me. I'm better. I'd better take another look at the files. It was on page 2, I believe.
Yeah, so we probably got to present that one on that last one.
Yeah, I just gotta get to it. And there we go. Okay. And then this one. And let's check one more time. Yeah, page 2.
Objection.
Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident.
Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner.
Hey.
It'll quench ya!
It's the quenchiest. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here.
Exclamation point.
In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall, are you related to this man?
Neil Marshall.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago,
Oh, shit.
He received the same lousy prostituter reward you got. What? A prostitute?
He must be talking about the King of Prostituters Award.
Now I remember. Prostituter Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did.
He handled his own murder case before you did?
That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He's my boyfriend. Brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then deputy chef of police.
Yes.
It's fucking rural!
If you're in bed, don't say yes, daddy. Say yes, chef. It's gender neutral. It is much better.
Yeah, even say we chef. That's even better. Like many of them do.
Do they?
In Hell's Kitchen, sometimes they just say we chef.
Rude. Don't speak to me in French.
The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prostitute the killer. Oh.
Yeah, he did it.
Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed, at least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight.
And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions?
There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime.
That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence.
Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled.
Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up.
But Lana still dead.
No murder took place at the police department that day.
Thanks, I try.
The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department.
Chance?
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, it's gotta be more than just that.
So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one.
Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chef prostituter Lana Sky.
It's just... Chief is just chef, prosecutor's just prostituter.
Yeah, when we start game 2, do we have to reset and create new shortcuts?
We need to carry everything on until nothing is the same word.
Right, we just keep on saying a string of bullshit that makes nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. But wait! A verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial.
Which is why we examined the incident in the police department today.
But
there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department.
It seems to me that this boy's got the draw on you, partner.
All of the mysteries of the police department have been resolved. No doubt about it.
it is not who left the locker propped open.
Your mother. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Sky. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Starr is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less.
Dick. Glove.
I agree.
I rest my case.
What a prick.
It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt.
Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department.
There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty.
I don't think it did.
It absolutely did not even a little.
Now then, the time for this verdict has arrived. The court finds the defendant...
Hold it!
Oh, shit.
Oh, damn.
Your Honor, wait.
Emma!
The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right?
Of course. What do you mean, right?
Mr. Wright. That's your fucking last name, you idiot. Are you this girl's guardian?
Hell no. Your Honor. In a sense.
Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please.
I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3.
Do we want to call it here?
I mean, how much longer we got? This one's already an hour long.
I know, that's what I'm
I feel like we're right at the fucking end.
Do you think so?
No, it's probably going to be another hour, but I do kind of want to wrap this shit up. But you have to edit, too.
I do have to edit today and record and render and upload. For tomorrow.
What do you want to do?
It's possible that we're at the end. I'm not really certain.
Maybe a quick Googling would help.
Yeah, let me just...
Yeah, try not to look up any spoilers.
Yeah, I'm not looking up spoilers.
Let's see how close we are. So far, we've been doing really, really good. I would hate to spoil it.
Oh yeah, no. We're not at the end.
Not even close?
No.
Alright, well then we're gonna save.
Son of a bitch. I thought we were pretty close here.
Okay. We're nowhere near the end. So we're gonna call it there.
Yeah, we'll be back next time.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and do our shoutouts.
Cool. I'm gonna start. I have been watching Lucifer on Netflix recently. Like, I started it like 2 months ago, watched like a few episodes, and then the last couple days I've just been like, yeah, I'm just gonna fucking like sit and binge this.
Yeah, as you do.
And so I've been really enjoying it. Like, I thought I'd be kind of sick of it by now, but like I'm almost done with season 2. And it's pretty good. I think sometimes it gets a little too formulaic, but I think it's the non-formulaic parts that really make the show work.
I think right now there are 5 full seasons.
I think so. And then there's going to be a final 6th season.
Yeah.
On Netflix itself, because I think the show was canceled before, and then Netflix bought it to revitalize it.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, something I like about the show is that it's kind of got that Harry Dresden and Karen Murphy thing going for it.
Yes.
Like, you know, tall, kind of like a dark-haired guy with short blonde cop chick. It just kind of works. And, you know, she doesn't believe in the supernatural. Well, I guess Murphy does, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, she eventually came along to it. At first she was pretty damn skeptical. I was like, look, I know something weird's going on.
Yeah.
And I know you get the answers, but I'm not going to believe in all this shit. And then werewolf. So.
And you've got really good... Well, to be fair, she had seen the troll in their first meeting in the first place, which is why she's just like, I'm going to bring you in. But like, yeah, it's kind of interesting. A very similar feeling to the Dresden Files in that particular way.
Yeah. I like Mazikine.
Yes, she's great. I also like Ella, the CSI girls. I think she's wonderful. I pretty much am growing to really like every character, which is pretty interesting. And Tricia Helfer, who plays Edie in Mass Effect, is Lucifer's mom, which is fun.
Yeah, sexy voice.
Yes, I agree. Anyway, so yeah, I've been really enjoying it. I think it's a fun show. And I hope that I continue to enjoy it all the way through.
Yeah, my shout out is going to go towards a YouTube video that I watched before we recorded the previous episode of Phoenix Wright. So during today's recordings, in between games while we were doing setups and all that stuff, Karl Jobst, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that name right. Anyways, he did a video called The Worst Fake Speedrun on YouTube. And he has a very just like dry presentation with it, but he throws in some jokes, and it was very nice, and it hearty laugh. But really, it was just like, man, I didn't realize how specific some of these people can do like a fake speedrun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and how abusive it's getting into some of the things to try and get like views on the bigger channels that do like the compilation of just, oh hey, it's all kinds of views. No one's gonna double check our shit.
I've seen some fun stuff with that before, people splicing together speedruns.
Yeah.
I'm just like, ooh, that's not fun.
Yeah, and I've watched a few speedrun videos. I'm not really into that scene.
Yeah, we're not into the AGDQ thing or whatever.
Right, I'd rather spend 200 hours on a game than 5 minutes. So, but I have seen some interesting stuff, like how the world's fastest Mario speedrun was done. That was a very interesting video. Holy shit. So it's interesting to see people break down the fake ones.
Yeah, you might watch Summoning Salt's videos on speedruns, because he kind of breaks down the history of the records and them finding new things or whatever.
Yeah.
It's very interesting shit.
Yeah.
I'm more into the idea of the background of speedruns than the speedruns themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like where they figured out this glitch.
Exactly.
And, you know, hey, this happens because this code is set like this.
Right.
And you get like an overflow error if you manage to get the frame rate off by 1, stuff like that.
And when you say things like, I prefer to spend 200 hours in a game rather than 5 minutes, and I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure they've spent 200 hours in this game.
I prefer to spend 200 hours in one playthrough of a game.
Right.
Than, you know, 200 hours trying to narrow it down to 5 minutes.
Right.
Like, the one time I even kind of sped run a game was when I wanted to get Excalibur 2 in Final Fantasy IX. Because you gotta get, like, to the damn end in 12 hours.
Right.
You gotta book it. So, yeah. At that point, you just abuse a bunch of track and trick and, you know, tense.
Yeah. I don't really speedrun things myself, aside from Spectre of Torment when I'm playing on hard mode, because you pretty much have to.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is tight.
But yeah, learning more and more about speedrun. So his video on how to break it down was really good. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
And speaking of speedruns, I believe that AGDQ was this last weekend. Or maybe it was just this last week in general.
Sure. Okay.
And I believe that they did a Three Houses one that I kind of want to check out. I'm interested to see what a speedrun of that game would be like.
Ooh, okay.
I know, right? I'm intrigued. I don't think they did Black Eagles, even though that's the shortest one. So it's interesting.
It might... Because it would have to depend on the difficulty spike in the end. And in Black Eagles, the difficulty spike on some of those last few fights is
that final boss sucks.
Yeah.
Not as much as Church Route final boss.
No.
But...
So, that might be...
I would assume they did Golden Deer.
I would think so.
I haven't watched it yet, but I'm intrigued by it, so I'm probably going to.
Yeah, cut down on the cutscenes and the interactions that you would have. Yeah, probably Golden Deer.
Yeah.
That'd be the way I'd think about it. But okay, that's all we got for today.
Yeah.
Apparently we still got like 20 episodes left. So, thanks so much, folks.
See you later.
Bye, Garrison.
Bye.
I thought we were at the end.
I really thought so too. Fuck me.